Good evening, everybody. It is 5:30. This is a Tuesday, Monday evening. Just trying to make a little review here of my 1,000 mile challenge. I'm at a grand total of 44 miles so far over the last couple weeks. That's pretty good. There's still 956 miles to go, but I'm like just almost 2/10 of a mile ahead of schedule. It's not an amazing big number, but I did at first I was fine keeping up my head, but of course you can only do that for so long. I was taking notes and stuff, and I decided to just go ahead and break down a little spreadsheet so I can just every day I make an update and it spits me out all these numbers so I can keep up with everything real easy. That way when I'm making these videos, I'm kind of like always on point. I don't have to keep searching for data and trying to remember where I'm at. But anyhow, so I didn't do great the first week. I mean, I let me rephrase that. I didn't do as good as I could have the first week, but I started. That's what matters most. My original goal is just 3 miles every day, boom, 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 and that easily works out to 1,000 miles a year. However, I found out with my work schedule and my current physical health, it wasn't fitting. Not because I couldn't do 3 miles, because when I did 3 miles, and then depending on the work day the next day, and then I do 3 miles again, and then depending on the work day the next day, like I just felt like by day, in that experience right there, that I just locked up my back. I mean, it's just arthritis and stuff. So I said maybe I need to find a new approach, and that really slowed my first week. So my first week, my target should have been somewhere around 21 miles or something like that. I only got 6, and that fucking sucked. I was really upset about that. Kind of disappointed. But in those couple of days, I took a minute to figure out what I could be doing and where I could be going and how I could be making it different. And I had remembered hearing something about somebody who's very involved in physical fitness talk about how you don't always have to do your max for one. That one more rep thing is good, but if you lose days in recovery, it may negate the purpose of getting one more rep, right? So the theory is this. Say you want to increase any muscle group whatsoever, and whatever your max is, you figure that out. Trial and error. All you can do is go do some push-ups until you stop. Go walk, go run, go hike, go do squats, do sit-ups, do whatever till you find your limit, what you believe is your personal limit. Doesn't matter if that's a mental health thing, if you think it's your limit or it should be your limit, or that one more rep mentality and all. Don't worry about everybody else's thing. Just worry about your thing. Find your limit, what you think that number is. There's a lot of factors in that. You just find it. Once you find it, depending on how old you are, proper muscle group recovery, it may take a couple days. They say for every decade old you are, it should be 1 day of recovery. So that's something along the lines. I think that came from the Arnold Schwarzenegger Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding I read when I was in high school. But it's like, if you're 10 years old, it's only going to take about a day, which makes sense, right? You always woke up feeling good when you were younger. When you're 20, every other day you're good, 2 days. When you're 30, it might take 3 days. So if you're in that really heavy lifting, you might need more time. So there's another school of thought though, and I'm not going to spit anybody's name out there because I'll probably mess it up, and I'm not going to use any fancy words because I'll probably mess them all up too. I'm going to try to keep it as simple as I can because I am a layman on it. Now, there's another school of thought that says instead of doing your max and then taking the 2 or 3 days off, that maybe if you only did 50% or 60% your max, then you could work out every day. Now, cumulative over time, there would be a greater volume versus when you just do little pieces, or you do everything you can in one day and then you just zero, and then everything you can in one day and just zero, everything you can in one day and just zero. Every one of us been to school, and we understand how big, if you do really bad on one test, how much it can bring down your average, right? So that's the whole point. It's just don't bring down your average. The volume of cumulative exercises, muscle group burnings, you know what I'm saying, that sort of thing, it will compound. That's more important. So I said, whatever, 1,000 miles a year is 1,000 miles a year. I don't care if you walk it, you run it, you crawl it. It doesn't matter to me. Just get there, you know, on your own means. Just get there. My first week, I only got 6 because I worked to a point where I just felt like I just shut down. My back tightened up, locked up. I do have issues with arthritis. I've been to doctor several times about it. There's only some things I can do and can't do. Gets to a limit and I'm done. And that's what it is. Now, I didn't plan on running a jackhammer for 10 to 12 hours the next day, but that's what it was. So, do concrete work. It happens. But the second week, I tried this new approach. So what I do is I walk a mile, and then I go do something else. And then I walk a mile, and I go do something else. And I walk another mile, and I go do something else. Now I do a lot of studying, a lot of homework. You know, just kind of. There's a number of things. You know, I want to get better at my craft. I want to get better. You know, just more intelligent across the board. Better spoken. I have tons of side projects. I tend to, you know, work 40, 50, 60. The last 2 years, honestly, I was doing 80 to 100 hours a week. But what I've decided to do over the last year is I try to stay something right down the middle, median. I do my 50, 40 hours, whatever the job requires. Take my ass home. I go home because I'm not going to spend 100 hours a week worrying about everybody else's goals and priorities and things that they need done and neglect all of mine. So I just don't. You know, I put in what I have to do, and I go home and do other things. And I go put in what I have to do, and I go home and do other things. So, you know, I even work for a different company now. That's it. Doesn't matter how much money how many goals I crush for you, I'm still only good as my last day of work. So I need to make sure I take time to focus on other things that are important to me as well. My family, my health. I can make a long list. But anyway, so what I do now is I put in my 40, and then I go to the house, and even with that, it can still make a long day. I mean, right now my job site's about 2 hours away, so it's 2 hours in the morning, and even if I only work an 8-hour day and then 2 hours home again, that's 12 hours of my day is right out the window. You know what I mean? So when I do get home, though, I try to do other things. Maybe it's studying, maybe it's something on a laptop, maybe it's learning something about social media, or maybe it's, you know, how do I want my life to be different next year? Maybe it's spending time and doing something with my kids. But one thing I did is I started doing a lot of remodeling. I mean, I've done it in the past, but it was always job related or work related or side jobs. And I decided, well, last year I said, I'm going to get a different place. I'm going to go ahead and just start from scratch and rebuild the whole thing. And then when I'm done, I can decide if I want to sell it. I can decide if I just want to move. I can decide if I want to get another one. I can do whatever. So far, it's working pretty good. So that allows me to walk a mile and then go do something else. Walk a mile. The first week, I didn't do so great because it just tightened up. The second week, I did like 200 square foot of flooring, did painting, put a new sink, you know, did probably cumulative like 8 hours of OSHA training. I mean, I did a lot more things. So I like this approach. The first day, going back to it, I did 6 miles in one day. And guess what happens the next day when I woke up? I was fine. I didn't hurt at all. Little tightness. But that's just because the muscles groups were moving. But it wasn't anything excessive. Nothing, no pain that would stop me from doing anything else, you know? So I said, shit, it works. The second day on that, I went right back and I did 3 miles that day because I had to work. So I only had so much limited time in the afternoon and evening when I got home. And then I got the idea. I said, well, look, maybe I can do a mile in the morning when I first get up. And it just kind of wake me up for the day and kind of get the ball rolling. And probably it's going to help out things with like metabolism and focus and everything else. It did. I feel better. So then I started, you know, crushing a mile in the morning and then coming home and finishing up. So that next week, I started out strong with 6 miles. I did my 3, did my 3. Friday, I had some personal things going on, very important things, but I only got 1 mile in because I just was busy. But then Saturday following again, I did 6 miles, crushed it, not even a problem. Doing other activities at the same time, studying, doing projects around the house, still got 6 miles in. The following Sunday, just a couple days ago, I got 8 more miles. I'm fine. I'm not crippled. I'm super energetic when I'm at work. My critical thinking is on point. Peace of mind. I sleep like a rock, way better than I was doing before. And then even today, my work day was a little bit shorter, but I still did 5 more miles. Like, so it's just kind of compounding and getting better and better. Now, I haven't started like speeding it up, trying to push myself to get it, faster miles in, or I thought about, like I used to when I was in the military, you wear a rucksack or something like that. I thought about, I have a decent little backpack I could put weight on and add weight to it. I haven't decided to do all those things. There's 2 things. One, when you just throw a bunch of new stuff at yourself, you're kind of more susceptible to things like other injuries you didn't expect, so because I have to get the volume, the 1,000 miles specifically for this challenge, I said, you know what I'm gonna do is just kind of do like a real steady, slow approach and try to make a little 1% incremental changes over time. I really believe that I'm probably going to be rocking 5 or 6 miles a day. I really think I'm capable of that. It's just going to take a time of like tweaking my schedule, speeding it up, changing the variations, finding the most comfortable things to be wearing, maybe a little bit different pair of shoes, that kind of stuff. And I think I really be knocking 5 or 6 miles out every day. Personally, that's probably going to be pretty close. My calorie intake is probably going to change and all that. And I haven't got that fancy with all the spreadsheets and dietary schedules and all that, but I'm just trying to document and take my time, and then I'll build on it as time goes on. So, anyhow, first week, 6 miles. Second week, 25 miles. That's 4 times as much. I'm doing more already on the third week. It's only the first 2 days. But right now, my average is out to what I owe is 43.8 miles for my cumulative days. But I've done my 44, so that gives me a balance of like almost 0.2 of a mile or something like that. I got 956 miles to go. Now, I really believe if I continue this forward momentum, it's gonna start cruising. I'm gonna be on cruise mode and just keep going. But I am going to adjust my schedule. I am going to slightly dial it up. I'm going to see if I can just focus on doing a little bit more every day and try to get like maybe 10 miles in the bank. That way, if I have an unforeseen injury, something happens, I have a couple days to figure out what I'm going to do and how I'm going to make my adjustment. So I'm going to try to focus on getting a couple in the bank. At the pace I'm going right now, I think I'm going to crush this year out. It's really going to be good. But we'll see. I'm going to add other exercises into it. I'm going to change my lifestyle up quite a bit. So I might have highs and lows in there. But I'm going to keep on recording. I'm going to keep on changing. I'm going to keep on growing. And I'm going to keep on sharing it all. I hope this brings some sort of value to you guys. I'm doing it anyways. If you like it, share it. Let your friends know, whatever. My overall goal doing this right here really is just to prove and challenge everybody. America, I don't care where you're from. It doesn't matter to me. You know what I mean? The only rights I care about are more like human rights. The rest doesn't matter. The he, she, who, what kind, it doesn't matter. So whatever this is, I hope it turns into making everybody else's day, lifestyle, circumstance just like 1% better. If I do that, I'm happy. That's it. Just little incremental changes. Dial it up a little bit more, and we'll see what happens over time. Anyhow, that's all I got. I hope everybody's happy holidays, and I'll be sharing again soon. God bless.